All in.
All in?
You really have like jacks on the birds?
All in?
Two shots, right?
Yeah.
Jacks on the birds are 10-9 hearts. Two jack cards, yeah. I thought that three, yeah.
Here we are. The tournaments aren't here. I asked the person, I was printing out my card. There's some other tournaments. Here's obviously some iconic faces if you're a poker fan. You know all these people. Hall of Fame, Horseshoe, Caesars. Doing our thing, trying our best. Hall of Fame room. Let's go win a ring.
Yeah, beat.
I wish once you started, they wouldn't be moving you around. It's kind of
For
there's plenty of people.
all kinds of crap out there. Flushes, straight. Shrivels right up. That's one lesson I learned in blood.
Which is right.
$45.
Is the fold. Holding a good pair. I think you had a better pair. I'm not sure. I don't think you would do that on a flush draw. Huh?
Repping my Wsop sweater. Love this sweater. So first break. We're in the ballroom. Like I said, it's really nice because it's separated from the regular casino floor. So it's like a nice quiet vibe that you can concentrate in. It's actually on the other floor. I just came here to use the restroom. So hot tip, if you are coming here, there's a bathroom on the second floor where we're playing, and then there's also one on the third floor, which is way less crowded. So if you want to go do that, use the bathroom in peace, you can do that up here, take the escalator up. But we're doing pretty good. We started with 20,000, quickly went to 12,000 because a flush draw and a straight draw didn't get there, and then someone called our bluff with second pair. I just kind of thought she may fold, but I could have sized up a little bit bigger, but she made a good call, and then we were down to 12 from 20, and then I raised ace 10 in the cutoff. It was 300 blinds at this point, so I raised it to 600, stacked with about 11 big blinds shoved on the button. Snap called, we're ahead of that range. We're flipping a lot, and we were flipping. He had deuces. Flop was lovely, ace, jack, 10. And then a few hands later, we held there, of course, and then a few hands later, so we're back to 19, feeling good. We raised and took it a couple times, so back up to 21-ish. And then we raised, and then late position, on the button, I believe, he raised our 900 raise. This is at 400 big blind. He raised it to 2,700, and we had king jack of hearts. I think you all might have saw that. So the king jack of hearts, it plays well. If it isn't suited, of course, we probably fold, but made the call for about 3x. Flop is a dream, without even getting there. So it's as good as it gets. 6 ace queen with the ace queen of hearts, and we have king jack of hearts. So royal draw, nut flush draw, straight draw, all those stuff. So it was definitely a dream flop because you don't feel bad if you raise and get there or don't get there. It's kind of one of those flops. But he c-bet on the flop. So the pot is roughly 5,000-6,000. He made it 1,200, so a super small down bet. And I thought we can call here, keep his bluffs in. It's almost like we're trapping in a weird way, right? It's not like we don't have a hand, but we're kind of trapping because he's repping the ace, he's in position, he probably has it, so he may not fold, so we can be creative on later streets if we get there or not. So turn is beautiful. It's the 5 of hearts, so he hit the nut flush on the turn. I check to him in flow, and then he bets 6,000, and then now he has roughly like 13,000 left. Anything I do here is pretty strong, right? Check raise small, min. What am I gonna do? Check raise min. So I just kind of thought a little bit about what to do. Feigned a little weakness, and then after 25 seconds, just shipped it. And he thought for a second, do you have 9-10 of hearts, Jack 10 of hearts, something like that? Of course, kind of putting me on the right range to call a 3-bet. Even though I'm raising from early position, of course, we'll probably still do it with Jack 10 suited, of course, but like Jack 9 suited probably, 9-10 suited probably, and we'll probably defend his 3-bet. So he kind of put me on the right range, but he had to call. He wasn't bluffing. He wasn't just range betting. He had ace queen, and like I said, ace queen, 6 flop, 5 of hearts on the turn, so the nut flush, and then obviously we held, which was lovely, and then just a couple hands after that, nothing really too fancy. Just had kings once. 3-bet got called, c-bet on the flop. Guy made a good fold on the turn. He told me he had 10s after, so you guys probably see that hand too. But just doing this fun little format. If anyone's coming here for the World Series circuit, the main event is 1,700 and it's next weekend. We might play that one, but it should be a good one. It's 500,000 guaranteed, and Vegas is really, really fun right now. It's March Madness, so everyone's watching the games, excited, sports betting and stuff, and March Madness is in the air, so a lot of people are in town to have fun. So if you're thinking to come into Vegas, you should come down. The series just started the other day, so we're at the very beginning of it, but this is a fun event, and I definitely suggest it. It's great value. All right, guys, see you in the next break. All right, here we are, familiar spot, Providence Ballroom. Still in the tournament. It was a wild kind of 4 levels, so 30-minute levels each. And when we went to break, when I kind of gave you an update last time, we had around like 47, 49,000, somewhere in between there. And kind of just hovered around there for an hour and a half. And then this last level and a half, we got some spots to chip up. There was a spot with pocket queens, someone raised, and they had like 12 or 13 big blinds. I just went all in. They didn't call, but we chipped up they raised like 3x. So it was kind of like, what else do I do? Just raise small, and it looks so obvious. And they folded their 14 big blinds or so. So that was interesting, but we did chip up there. And then after that, we just kind of raised and took a few other hands, blinded some people down a little bit. There were kind of some short stacks. We had some good hands to raise. And then some interesting hand that kind of went along this last 10 minutes or so. So I had ace king, and I had been raising a few hands, mostly with good hands, right? So I'm in late position. I have about 60,000-ish. Raised 3.5x. To make it look a little bluffy, but also to de-incentivize the big blind with just calling with any 2. It is 1,000 and then 1,000 big blind ante, and the guy had 17,000-ish. So he calls the 3,500 after tanking a little bit in the big blind. So I'm like, what kind of hands does he have here? It's kind of bigger hands. He's probably shoving, but those kind of middling hands, middle suited connectors, or something he just wants to see a flop with that he feels priced in because there's a big blind ante. So there was something let's say 8,000 probably in the middle, and he has roughly 14,000 back, maybe a little less. So the flop is 3, 4, 5. We have ace king. It's 3, 4, 5, 2 diamonds and a heart. We have ace king black, king of clubs, ace of spades. So we just kind of were planning on shoving every flop that isn't queen jack 9-ish, kind of those middling cards that are kind of you would expect him to defend. So when it's all low, you kind of have the range advantage, and you have a gutter and whatever, all the overpairs, trying to make it look a little bluffy by shoving, like I did with queens just earlier. And anyway, so he tanks and he says, "This is one of the top 10 sickest calls in my life." And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? Does he have ace 7 or something like that? We're dominating him. And then as he thought about it a little bit more, I was like, does he have some kind of deuce, some silly deuce 7 suited, or I don't even know, deuce king suited or something? I'm like, it's not that tough of a call, especially with a backdoor flush draw. And so he just thinks for 45 seconds. This is the top 10 sickest call of my life. And he calls with 6 deuce of hearts. So he just calls whatever it was, 30%, 25% of his stack pre-flop with 6 deuce suited, hits the gin flop because I can't hit a 3 anymore because it's 5 deuce 4. And he has a backdoor flush draw. And I'm like, is that really the toughest call of your life, the top 10 toughest call of your life? And he just kind of laughed or whatever. I'm just like, okay, good hand. And obviously he held brick, and that was pretty gross. And then the very next hand, it was really weird because this person to my right, she's been limping a lot. She's been playing pretty straightforward, just limping random hands like queen 7 suited, king 4 off and stuff. So the very next hand, I get king queen, and she limps again from early position. I make a 3.5x, and then this dude, the same one from last time, he's in the small blind, and he thinks for a second, then he makes it. So she limps 1,000, I make it 35, and then he makes it 12,000. Like maybe it was like right, it was about 13,000 actually. So it was 9,500 for me to call. She folds 9,500 to me, and then he's kind of giving a speech like, oh, I just want to give them all back. I want to give them all back. And then I'm kind of thinking there, and like obviously the emotions are kind of flowing, and you're a little bit tilted from the last hand, and like just maybe I should have shoved pre, but who shoves ace king? You want to induce someone to make a mistake, you know? So these things are kind of going through your mind, the hand right after. So I'm like, okay, I have king queen off, and I'm like, well, he might think I'm steaming and just kind of isolate someone else who's kind of perceived to be weak, and then he's re-raising me. But the thing is that I have, at this point, I still have like 35,000 chips, so about 35 big blinds, even after I raised her. So, and then he has a little bit, like about like maybe 2,000 or 3,000 more than me now at this point. So he has me covered. And I actually like was just gonna shove it in, and I was like, is this gonna be a punt? And I kind of calmed down, started breathing, and I thought about it, and I was like, you know, is this dude trying to, you know, it can happen. Like they raise, they get lucky on you. We've seen it online. We see it live all the time. Like they have some junk hand, they double up, put someone on tilt. Then the next hand they have like aces or ace king or some kind of like monster. And it's just like, you know, those are always 6 spots, and they're kind of like, GG, you're out the door if you make a mistake. But he could have just been like, just, you know, anything like ace jack he could have had, something like that, ace king, ace queen. And I thought about it for about a minute and a half, and I was about to shove and going through everything, and then I thought, well, I still have the 35 big blinds. The last person I'm gonna give my chips to is this dude. If I have ace queen, I'm definitely shoving. You know, maybe king queen suited, but king queen off. And then the thing is, the structure is great, so you guys should come play it. The World Series circuit, it goes to 500, 1,000. Okay, and then the very next level is also 500, 1,000 for some reason. I haven't really seen that in other places, but it's pretty much repeats the same level twice. So it's not like, so the level just ended, and I was kind of like the last 3 minutes of the level. I was like, if I come back, it's not like I have like 25 big blinds. I'll still have 35, 36 big blinds. It's pretty much just repeating the same level. So kind of made the fold, and then he kind of was like, oh, did you have a pair? And like, so I just like didn't answer, just kind of thinking to myself, what does that mean? Does he have like ace king there? Does he have like a pair himself? Probably like maybe 10s, 9s. We could have been flipping for everything, but also, you know, I just wanted to make the right play and not an emotional one, so I folded. So I'm not sure what you guys would have done. Let me know what you would have done in the comments. The exact sequence and dynamic was different than most hands, you know. It might be an easier fold otherwise, you know, if you just lose a hand versus 6 deuce and ace king, then the very next hand the same dude is raising again. What do? You know, kind of think about it and shove, you know, put him on maybe like 50-50 situation, or just not want to take that gamble because you think, you know, you're a good enough player to kind of, which I know, you know, people are kind of playing pretty straightforward, so I can just kind of play straightforward as well and kind of aggressive and take advantage of spots. So I just kind of thought better of it and folded. But let me know what you all would have done. Break is almost over. Love you guys. Let's run it up and let's win this World Series ring. We're still in it.
I know.
All right, friends, we're no longer in that tournament. We had about 20 big blinds for a while. Someone had about like 16 big blinds. Shoves from the cutoff. We're in the small blind with ace, jack, easy call. We have about 20 big blinds here, 21. And he has ace king, so sick game when they have something so huge, when they have such a short stack, but we're usually dominating them there. But it happens, and we were down to like 4 or 5 big blinds, shoved next hand with like 9-7 suited, flop the guy flops a pair with ace-8, and then I turn a straight draw and a flush draw, and then river brick. But we are in the turbo event now. It starts at 4 o'clock, and it's right about 4. So let's get in and win this one. All right, see you guys later.